Well, good morning or good afternoon, if that may be the case. I want to welcome everyone to today's webinar, 5 Key Strategies to Landing and Keeping the Best Talent. This is a special webinar hosted by Dextran and Cheney and presented by our technology partner, BirdDog HR, that will focus on the best practices for recruiting intention. And we're also going to provide an exclusive look at our new Spectrum Talent Management powered by BirdDog HR. I am Andy Holtman with Dextran and Cheney, and in just a few moments I'll turn things over to my colleague Scott Rosenblum, who is our Vice President of Strategy here at Dextran and Cheney, and later Brian May with BirdDog HR. But as folks are still kind of trickling in this morning, I just want to take a few seconds to go over some basic housekeeping tips. If this is your first time using the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar interface, you might notice that there's a navigation bar generally on the right-hand side of your screen. This is how you interact with us during the webinar today. At the top of that bar, you should see an orange-colored arrow. This is where you can expand or hide that navigation bar to your liking. But you're also going to see a number of different areas in that control panel where you can adjust the settings, interact with us, and more. One thing you might notice today is that if you're an attendee, you are muted. We do have a good number of folks on the call this morning, and we mute people just to make sure there's no background noise or chatter, nobody eating sandwiches at their desk, etc. However, you can still, like I said, interact with us by using the navigation bar where you can raise your hand, leave a comment, ask a question. You'll see the different boxes there in which you can do that. Speaking of the comments and questions area, if you do have a comment or question during the presentation, please go ahead and type it in, and we'll do our very best to answer it. We're going to hold questions until near the end of the webinar today, and we'll have a little Q&A session. If we're not able to get to your question or we can't answer it, we will follow up with you shortly after the webinar and make sure that we get that answer for you. We're also recording the webinar today, so if you'd like a copy of the recording or the slides from the webinar today, or just generally have more interest in the Spectrum Talent Management product, feel free to let us know by leaving a comment or question as well. Just a little bit about Dextran and Cheney for anybody who might not know. We are the leader in cloud-based construction ERP software and the developer of Spectrum construction software. We specialize in business management and operations solutions. Spectrum is a full suite accounting, business management, project management, service management, and equipment management solution for the construction industry. Our latest version is a fully browser-based version of the software, and you can access it wherever you have an internet connection. So you can take Spectrum wherever work takes you. The Dextran and Cheney also partners with a number of different industry associations, organizations, and other technology companies like BirdDog HR to kind of bring a host of educational resources to the industry, including webinars like you're on here today, white papers, videos, blogs, podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can find these by visiting our website at www.dextercheney.com. Now with the housekeeping tips out of the way, and I see folks are still trickling in here, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to my colleague Scott Rosenblum, who's going to discuss a little bit about Dextran and Cheney, and how the partnership between our company and BirdDog HR came about, and what Spectrum Talent Management can really bring to the table for everybody. So Scott, let me go ahead and turn things over to you, sir.
Great, thanks so much, and good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Scott Rosenblum. I'm VP of Strategy here at Dextran and Cheney, and really excited about the next hour here with our partner BirdDog HR to talk about Spectrum Talent Management. A couple of things. Andy obviously went through, a history of Dextran and Cheney a little bit and what we bring to the table. We've been around since 1981, and one of the things that we pride ourselves on is we continue to innovate. So we've innovated through all different sorts of platforms, technologies, up till the current web and cloud-based solution that we have today, taking our clients along with us through that journey for the last. Some of our clients have been with us for 15 or over 20, some over 20 years, and we've continued to take them through that process of going through all these different technologies, keeping all their data, keeping all their customers, and continuing to be able to leverage all the newest platforms that are out there today. We really focus on integration of all our components. So, a good example that I know many of you maybe take for granted now, but document management is fully integral into Spectrum software, which means that everywhere within the system, your documents are linked and associated with the with your transactions. That's something that we carry throughout the rest of the product. Our dashboards are also integral, so you'll see some systems out there with some bolt-on sort of reporting or business intelligence. Our dashboards are integral to the product, so we actually can use them as navigation throughout the product to simplify for both your executives as well as your day-to-day users of the system. And the other key point for Dextran Cheney is to really focus on service and support. And we feel that it's not just acquiring a new client, but working with them throughout the lifetime of our partnership. And as evidenced by the number of clients we've had for so many years, we really strive for that. It's more than just being a vendor customer kind of relationship, but really a partner relationship. And that kind of brings me to the discussion today around our Spectrum Talent Management and the BirdDog HR partnership. First thing is, our clients today have been telling us that they've been facing a lot of challenges around not only hiring talent, but retaining that talent. So keeping them engaged, keeping them evolving within their organization, promoting them as warranted, and ensuring that they keep that process going cleanly. Many of our clients, I'm sure many on the phone here today, on this webinar today, have seasonal work. So you're constantly hiring and for very spike kind of requirements, and that puts a big challenge on the HR team to be able to get those folks in, get them qualified, get them on board, and then help identify those that you want to keep and continue to promote. One of the other challenges we hear very often, especially now, is the retirement of baby boomers, right? So a lot of those really talented people in your organization are starting to leave, retire, and there's a sort of a brain drain, a gap in various parts of your organization. So lots of those challenges are leading people to figure out how to better hire and retain those employees. So we were looking for a partner that specialized not only in that sort of talent acquisition, but also in the construction industry. As we know, it's very different than many other industries and has some unique requirements. So the other thing, because we are web-based and cloud-based, we wanted a partner that was also cloud-based. The other key point was about integration, that we wanted something that was going to be integral to our solution. We pride ourselves on that integration, and we want to keep that going throughout any of these further advances within the product and through these partnerships. So we were pleased to find BirdDog HR. They are cloud-based. They do specialize in construction. They do specialize in a lot of the things that our customers are taking are concerned with today. And then, and almost as importantly, is sort of culturally. So our culture of service and support is shared by BirdDog HR. They look at their clients in the same way as partners, and that's very important to us because as we evolve our relationship with you, hopefully, we want to know that we can provide that same level of support throughout all the offering of the product. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over now to Brian May from BirdDog HR to help you understand those 5 key strategies to landing and keeping the best talent. Brian?
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate the quick overview and the warm reception. Everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to talk about 5 key strategies to landing and keeping the best talent. Also give you an exclusive look at Spectrum's new talent management software powered by BirdDog HR. Really excited to work with Spectrum on this project. So we'll just jump right in. As Andy had mentioned, please go ahead and start putting in your questions as we go through the webinar today, and at the end we'll have plenty of time left to answer those. All right, so there are three main challenges within the construction industry today. The number one issue facing the construction industry is workforce development, and all three of these challenges revolve or wrapped around workforce development. Finding, engaging, developing, and retaining people is a huge opportunity for over 70% of contractors today, according to the latest AGC of America workforce study. Let's dive in a bit to see what's happening in the marketplace. Now, as you can see in this slide, it talks about construction spending. We all know 2006 was our high point. We bottomed out in 2011, and now we're about to break the $1 trillion mark for the first time in 6 years. As a result, construction employment is following the same trend. Now, when you dig a little deeper, you're going to see in 2010, almost 2 million construction workers were out of the labor market. Now, here's what happened, and I mean, if you think about it, it'll be pretty clear. According to Ken Simonson, who's the chief economist for the AGC of America, we lost 1.6 million workers after 2006. They left the industry for retraining, or they retired early due to the downturn. Now, this further exacerbated our shortfall of people. Current employment levels are now returning to the same watermark as experienced in 2006, right? So what we're seeing is a real inverted supply and demand model. Demand is ultra high and supply of talent is really low. Now, last but not least, you're going to see here the types of jobs construction companies are having a hard time filling. At Bird Dog HR, and this isn't an inclusive list, okay? This isn't an inclusive list, obviously. But at Bird Dog HR, we feel that this is actually going to get worse before it gets better for two specific reasons. One, construction spending is forecasted to grow 6 to 10% year over year for the next couple of years. Not a bad problem to have, right? But the second reason is due to the retirement of the baby boomers, and Scott mentioned that earlier. Our industry is really experiencing that skill zap. Those baby boomers are taking those skills with them, and it's leaving a real gap in the marketplace. For the first time in our history, we're going to have 5 different generations in the workforce. Today, a little over 36% of the workforce are millennials. By 2020, this number is going to grow to 46%, and by 2025, the millennials will represent 75% of our workforce. The best way to overcome this shortfall that we're experiencing today is to embrace the generational challenges by evolving our processes. Today, millennials are looking for easy ways to apply for jobs. They want to work remote or via mobile devices. I mean, they're getting used to this faster way of doing things through social devices and social apps and collaboration tools. They want to understand their impact on the success of the company. Most importantly, they want to understand how they can continue to grow within your organization and what's possible from a succession standpoint. When we can't deliver on these things, our people become disengaged and attrition rates climb. What we're going to now discuss are the 5 key strategies to landing and keeping the best talent, and how the Cheney Spectrum Talent Management Software powered by Bird Dog HR helps an organization gain more control over the employee lifecycle. It all starts with recruiting and hiring the right people, right? But then getting them entrenched in your culture as fast as possible, providing them the tools they need to be successful and developing them, giving them the skills they need to meet the challenges ahead, offering them timely feedback and transparency into their performance, as well as career direction. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at how Spectrum's talent management software can help you recruit and hire talented people. First off, there are many keys to being a successful recruiter in our industry. I've highlighted a few that are really must-haves to your approach. You won't be surprised to know that the Spectrum Talent Management Software powered by Bird Dog provides you with these keys. I mean, the first thing is you need to be proactive. You need to take an always-on type of an approach. Now, in the past, that's been a challenge because recruitment budgets are only so deep. The reason why we need to be more proactive is that the scratch when it itches approach is no longer effective due to this down people market that we're in. It puts too much pressure on our teams and forces us, when we need somebody really badly, to hire somebody really bad. So you'll appreciate knowing that within the Spectrum Talent Management software in the recruiting module, the recruitment outreach is built in, and you can use it in unlimited fashion. That allows you to be more proactive and get away from that, again, that scratch when it itches approach. There are 5 main sources that influence over 65% of hires today. So the next thing we have to do is we have to get rid of the status quo, what isn't working, and we have to embrace the new technologies that are out there and the new resources that can help us find more people. Those being corporate career pages. So how do you utilize your own web properties, job boards, referral groups, right? Referrals have been the backbone of our industry for so long. How do we maximize those? How do we speed them up and accelerate the referral process, not just with our own people, but with our friends in the industry? Social media, right? So socially optimizing our brand and our jobs, and then also developing a talent community. You know, getting individuals within the industry or tangential to the industry to start following us and be aware of our brand, so that the likelihood of them becoming a hire in the future, you know, if we're nurturing that talent community, goes way up. So we need to utilize as many of these resources as possible and take a cast-a-wide net approach to maximize our opportunity to find and be found. Now, according to Google, 80% of job seekers start their search via Google and on a mobile device. So it's imperative to have a mobilely responsive job and apply process and onboarding process, for that matter. Not many individuals are accessing information via PCs and laptops any longer. So it's critical that no matter what system that you're using and how you're promoting your jobs, that those jobs and that apply process are mobilely responsive, no matter what screen resolution that end user is functioning on. Lastly, whether you're a federal, state, or private employer, protect yourself by tracking and documenting everything involved with you and your people to reduce risk. So we'll hit on these as we go through the sneak peek of the talent management software. Again, we're starting by talking about recruiting. All right, so sticking with these keys, you're going to see that the Spectrum software is designed to help you utilize these best practices. You're able to build in your templates of your jobs, and you're able to configure your own apply process. Each job can have its own screening diversity sites, veteran sites, and some of the most high-powered job boards out there, like Indeed.com. We also have partnerships with some of the biggest job boards. These are direct integrations. They don't require a third-party contract. None of these job boards do. That's something that's really special about our solution, is that we have a one-to-one relationship with all of our recruitment resources. So when you're working with Spectrum, that's the only point of contact that you're going to need to be able to utilize all of these job board resources. So pushing your job out to your career site, pushing it out to the job boards, being able to socially optimize the job through any of your social media outlets, being able to kick it out to your referral groups, your referral networks, and also to your talent community, all part of the job distribution process. Here's a look at a basic integration with a client's website. We provide you with a real-time HTML Java code plugin, JavaScript, and you plug that right into whatever page where you want your jobs to display. So as you post them through the Spectrum software, they automatically display here, allowing a direct link for the candidate to plug right into your branded job and your apply process. Again, the job and the apply process are completely configurable, right down to individual questions that you might be asking due to a specific job or skill set. All of the affirmative action necessities are here from an EOE standpoint. Your EOE statement, accessibility statement, EEO is the law poster links are here, including the supplemental posters and pay transparency policy statements. This all really sings to a compliance officer, making sure that you're really making your applicants aware of their opportunities. We also collect those voluntary surveys on race, ethnicity, gender, vet status, and disability status. Great thing about the software is that we have an advisory board that directs us on staying compliant and making sure that we're helping our customers demonstrate habits that are consistent with a compliant recruitment process. So if you're a state or federal contractor, or you just want to show your social responsibility, this is going to meet your needs here from an outreach standpoint to underutilized individuals. Once applications come into the software, they're loaded under the job they applied to, and now you can control your workflow, your recruitment workflow, document the stages in the recruitment process easily, also track any dispositions or notes, reasons why people are falling out or sticking in the process. We are integrated with Outlook, so scheduling interviews are made very easy. You can actually see your hiring manager's schedules right within the Spectrum software, allowing you to plant those interview schedules and calendar invites right into their Outlook calendar from the software. Background checks and drug screens are made available as well. So we have some integration partners there that we can offer to make the process seamless. What really sings to the busy HR manager, especially those that have been used to a homegrown system, typically one or two people know how to manage that system. All of that information's in their head, where you're at in the recruitment process and what has to happen next. This system, anybody can sit down at and immediately know where the last person left off. The alerts are there, the notes are there, the documentation and tracking is all there. It's very easy from a don't make me think approach, and provides you all the necessary components to just keep the process moving forward. Everybody gets sick, right? You don't need your HR department to shut down if somebody gets sick. So this is going to help you move on. All right, all applicants not only get tagged to the jobs they applied to, but then they get put into the talent community, or your candidates pool. Within the candidates pool, you can search by keyword, label, location, to find individuals with a particular skill set, to directly source them for future opportunities. They may come up unexpectedly. What I really love about the candidates pool is that you can also nurture this talent community. Okay, these become your followers if you so choose. There are email templates that you can create and push out to these candidates, and almost steal a page right out of the sales and marketing playbook, right? So drip your brand and your messaging out to these candidates, so that in the future, when you do have an opening that's appropriate to them, the likelihood of them becoming a hire increases exponentially. So when we're talking about nurturing the talent community, it's leveraging those past resources for future opportunities. We're making that easier for you through the Spectrum Talent Management software. All right, so that was a crash course on recruiting. I hope you enjoyed that sneak peek. We're going to next talk about how to drive engagement from the start, and that's with onboarding. Now, many studies show that new hires get lost on their very first day. They lose faith in an employer really fast if that employer isn't demonstrating an organized and a ready-to-entrench approach to their new hire. And when I say entrench, we want to get them immersed in our culture as fast as possible. So here are some keys that you can take away to immediately improve your employee engagement from day one. Now, looking at the how the Spectrum talent management software can help, the first thing we talk about is quickly getting all of that paperwork done effectively. Now, within the onboarding software, your manager is going to sign in once a new hire is denoted hired from the recruitment module. Their data passes over and they're ready to be onboarded. Onboarding can happen remotely via the cloud or on site. What I mean by remotely is that once you select to onboard that new hire, an email is sent to the new hire and it allows them to register to start the paperwork process. Okay, and we know what that paperwork is, right? It's that inch thick file folder that you usually sit down a new hire with their very first day on the job. That right there is sped up through the Spectrum talent management software. The new hire signs in, again, whether they're off-site or on-site, and data that has passed over from the ATS is pushed right into the onboarding. So now they just verify what we already know and fill in the blanks on their contact information. They start going through and answering voluntary survey questions again. So the post-hire voluntary survey is taken care of. I-9s, W-4s, state W-4s. The state W-4s are all automated to pull up appropriate documentation to complete based on the zip code. You see this dial, this meter on the left-hand side. That's going to continue to tick up, all right, to keep the new hire in tune with where they're at, what step in the process they're at right now. Next, we're going to collect direct deposit information. We're going to get sign off on all your policies and forms, acknowledgments or signatures, whatever you need. And then they're going to the new hire is going to be able to review all the documentation and pass that on to their manager. Okay, so they're going to get that on-screen message that, wow, you did it. Everything meets the check. You've crossed your T's and dotted your I's. Now we just need your manager to sign off on everything. So again, if they're on site, manager now is going to grab ID and verify. If they did this remotely, as soon as they show up the first day, that's the only thing the manager has to do or the HR person has to do is sign back in and go ahead and grab either that list A or list B and C document. The system gives a great on-screen visual as to what to look for. Sorry that this might be a little small, but you can imagine it's quite detailed. Just making it easy for your managers or your hiring manager to make sure that they're getting the necessary information and we are reducing risk right from the onset of this new hire. Now, if you think about it, what's happening here is no longer do you have to take the time to have somebody babysit that new hire while they're filling out all that paperwork. It's really being done for them, and we're guiding them through that. So now that frees up that HR manager or hiring manager to really be more effective for the organization than just being that accountant. Again, on-screen message, E-Verifies run, employee is ready to work. Okay, now engagement continues, right? Employees and all people for that matter are looking for an employer that will invest in their future. So when employees don't get that level of commitment, an employer may recognize higher than normal attrition levels. I guess you could say, you know, if they aren't learning, they're going to be looking. So let's discuss for a moment 3 ways an employer can reduce turnover and drive engagement through development. Learning and development plays a huge role with employee engagement and reducing turnover, and that's why organizational development teams are ramping up their approach to education and development for 3 reasons. 1, replacing the baby boomers, right? We're all recruiting new people to our industry and to our company, and we need to help them develop the skills necessary to be successful. Number 2, I mean, that's called closing the skills gap, right? 1 employee at a time. When opportunities are uncovered through performance reviews or providing, or we need to provide our employees with the necessary development to help them do their job better, this is showing a commitment level to those individuals, the same commitment you're expecting from them. This drives engagement way up. providing career and development or succession planning to those that have the performance and potential to meet the challenges ahead and or be our future leaders is something else that I think society today, employees today are looking for from their employer. They want to know how to get there, how they're going to fit, and how to get there. And through learning and development, this drives that engagement. So let's start looking at how the learning management software helps with the onboarding process first. Okay, so we're going to continue with that thought process, and then we're going to take a look at how Spectrum's Talent Management Suite, powered by Bird Dog HR, can help you and your team continue to develop the skills necessary to meet the challenges ahead. Okay, so imagine now the paperwork just got completed, your new hire is on site. What better way to demonstrate to them your organization than giving them the keys, their username and password to your learning management software? The training schedule for that new hire can be launched right through the LMS, and it's tied to job ID. So this helps the new hire understand the plan and what's coming next over the next few days or months. All right, again, total entrenchment into the culture. They'll know what classes to attend, documents to review, peers or mentors to visit with, or online training to complete. So again, total entrenchment to their new job. Overall, the learning management software is designed to help your employees assess and develop new skills as well. So you can deliver and track instructor-led training, virtual instructor-led, online courses, and any other training that you're developing using an authoring tool. All training, learning, licensing, and certifications are tracked and documented to the employee's transcript, so you have a full record of all of their qualifications. Development plans or performance improvement plans identified from the performance module, and we're going to talk about that, are supported and documented through the learning management software. Now what we're doing is we're helping our employees close the gap and be prepared for the challenges ahead. Here is an example of our learning library, well, actually our skills test library, I should say. It comes loaded with over 150 skills tests. Employees can take those as they would like. It helps them understand their strengths and weaknesses, and then they can sign up for additional courses through the course catalog to help them in closing the gap. Now, the course catalog is available for all employees and lists instructor-led, virtual instructor-led, online learning, anything that you've stocked in your catalog. It can be set for approval only or to allow employees to take the learning as they wish. Managers and administrators can assign courses to support the development or performance improvement plans and or succession plans for that matter. Of course, you can design your own for using any authoring tool that's form compliant, or you can purchase courseware through third-party vendors and serve it up through the Spectrum LMS. All right, we talked a little bit through the learning software about engagement through alignment and performance reviews and how they tie together. We'll get into that a little more deeply. But what it comes down to is alignment. Aligning company expectations and employee behaviors can be a challenge, all right, without a systematic approach. Because of this, many companies struggle. I mean, think about it. What happens to you, or what do you think happens to your employee when they don't know what their expectations are, right? Or they're just left to figure it out, or the expectations are unrealistic, right? They start thinking, who the heck came up with this stuff? Or for that matter, it's a moving target. They aren't provided feedback in a timely manner, right? And are only taking a look at their goals or their competencies, performance once a year. It gets really frustrating for employees when their expectations are not clear, there's no way to keep score or someone offering feedback. Without this, the employees become apathetic over time and disengage from their jobs. Everyone wants to know their employer's expectations and how their performance aligns to those expectations. They also want an employer's commitment to closing the gap when one exists. Establishing competencies, goals, and formalized review process is really essential. Through the Spectrum Talent Management software, we've really simplified this process. In this example, I've completed some required courses. This is my on-screen, this is my on-screen alert when I sign in. This can be completely configured to provide the message that you're looking for. And then it shows me my to-do list. And in this example, I've got a couple scheduled courses, some required courses, I have a test to take, I have an evaluation to complete. Once I sign in, I can go on that performance evaluation. I go right into the evaluation, and here you can see I see what evaluations are due. I can go and look at completed evaluations in the past, anything that's pending approval. My supervisor, right? When they go in, if I'm doing a self-assessment, for instance, my supervisor is going to see my answers to my self-assessment right alongside the form they're filling out. So they're now at the same time rating and commenting on my progress to goal achievement and demonstration of core competencies based on their own experience, right? And we can match any form of rating scale. So even if you're not using a self-assessment, you're just doing a supervisory review or you're doing a 360 review, we have the ability to match your forms and help you implement any rating scales that you may be using. So again, you can offer self-assessments, 360 reviews, supervisory reviews. Forms and rating scales are all configurable within the software. Employees have access to their goals all year round, so they're not just seeing them once a year, and that helps them, right? They can take notes to achievements, and their manager can go in and make notes so that you don't forget about those little milestones throughout the year, your achievements, and additionally miss out on some of those opportunities. So they can add in additional goals if they want to, and as I mentioned, comment throughout the year to stay in tune with expectations. Here's an example of a 360 review. They're great for gaining feedback from peers. This is the 360 evaluations, and once I go ahead and click on the rating form, now I can see how that form is laid out. It's got multi-rater functionality. It allows for feedback from peers, vendors, partners, etc. The data all aggregates into a great, easy to review report, and now gives me side-by-side comparison. Now, where a lot of companies are using this is to get peer review, but I'm also seeing more and more organizations when a project is completed using these 360s to review the project with their owner, with vendors, partners, subs, maybe even doing an evaluation on their project coordinator. But here, then the performance ratings come through. You've got side-by-side comparisons between the individual and the company, and now you can help with the development process from there. What makes the performance review process really sing for most HR practitioners is how easy it is to schedule and manage evaluations. No more complex spreadsheets. Collecting documents and passing them on is simple. The system does it for you. Each review is timed and tied to a custom schedule of raters and approvers. Reminders are sent out to the team according to or in addition to any other on-screen alerts that will come up upon login to the software. I mean, it's really designed to make the process simple and allow you to focus on more of those people elements like building relationships and recruiting and developing. Now, everything we've been doing to this point in the presentation and within the software is all culminating in the succession planning section. As we discussed earlier in the presentation, attrition due to retirement is something construction companies are dealing with more today than ever before. The challenge that all too many face is understanding who's at risk of leaving their position due to attrition, retirement, or promotion. We need to have a clear understanding of organizational goals, our people, and whom, if provided, the right development plans can be ready, right, to meet the future challenges ahead. So what we need is more clarity to our crystal ball. We need a crystal ball, and that's the succession planning module. Putting in place a succession plan becomes more and more difficult as an organization grows. This is not something you can effectively do on paper. Succession planning needs data, right? Data from past performance reviews, from skills evaluations, from training plans, and 360 peer feedback. If you can understand who your high performers are within the organization and who has the potential to become high performers, we can offer individuals upward mobility and the development plans to get there. This, aligned with your organization's goals and business strategy, can help you meet and overcome future challenges in a proactive manner. Let's go ahead now and take a look at Spectrum's talent management software, the succession module, and we'll see how that can help. Now, this is going to get really colorful, lots of graphs, images, statistics, but here you can see I'm an individual. I sign in, and I can go in and take a look at my dashboard and see my averages for all my competency scores. I can also compare those to the company averages to see how I'm performing. I can go in and see any succession plans, any past evals, my training history. If I'm on a performance improvement or development plan, it's all listed there. Org chart is available. So me as an individual employee, I've got a great wealth of information at my fingertips that really helps me understand how to keep score, how to evaluate my performance, how my performance is being evaluated. Next, as a manager, when I sign in, I not only see my own information, but then I can also see all the development plans for my employees. I can see any succession plans that I put in place for my employees, my direct reports. I can see all of my direct reports, and I can compare them to company averages. I can identify trends, strengths, and weaknesses within my own employees or direct reports, so I know where additional training and development needs to happen. Information is key here, and everything that we've collected up to this point is all funneling right into the succession module. I love this one. This is our 9-box, okay? We call it our talent matrix. In this example shown here, the talent matrix identifies performance versus potential within your team and your whole organization, depending upon what your user permissions are. Now, within this 9-box, you can see high performers and low performers. You can see who's at risk and who, if provided that right development plan, can be ready to meet the future challenges ahead and be that successor, right? You mouse over anyone's initials, and up comes this little player card giving you a picture of the individual and their ratings. You can go in and view their profile and their transcript and see who their manager is and all that great stuff. Now, speaking of identifying future successors, our talent slate. Our talent slate is of great use. We all know that quit just happens, right? You can't see it coming, no matter how prepared you are. Another strong solution in the Spectrum Talent Management Suite is this talent slate. Do you need to know someone that has a certain skill set or competency? Well, within the talent slate, you can search for those people with those particular skills and competencies within your organization, providing you with potential replacements should you lose a key individual. So you not only have your prospective hires, but you've got your own employees to recruit from as well. Well, this is what Spectrum and BirdDog are doing together in this partnership, is really simplifying talent management. Through the Spectrum Talent Management software powered by BirdDog HR, you can see how managing the employee lifecycle becomes easier to control and drives employee development, alignment, and engagement. Here are the 5 keys to success. Right? Hire the right people. It's hard to do that if you don't have a good system or a process, right? If you put yourself in a spot where you need somebody really badly, that's what you get, somebody really bad. So make sure at that point that you've hired the right person, make sure you're prepared to effectively onboard those new hires. The longer it takes to entrench them into your culture, the better chance you have of losing them. Next, develop your people. Provide them with the same level of commitment you expect from them. Remember, if they aren't learning, they will be looking. Make sure transparency is high and your team is getting an appropriate level of feedback for on-the-job performance and their future career within the company. If your crystal ball is foggy, if you don't know who's at risk of leaving, or better yet, who you can develop to be that successor, this is the type of system that can help you with that. All right, well, at this time, why don't we take some questions? Let's turn it back over to Scott and Andy from Dexter Cheney. Scott, are you still there?
I am. I think Andy's got a couple of questions. Yeah, just looking through the questions here. I'll go ahead and start with this one. So here's a question here about attracting millennials. We have a really hard time attracting millennials to apply for jobs. How can we improve in this area?
I think I lost you.
Oh, sorry. There's a question about millennials and attracting millennials. The question is, we have a really hard time attracting millennials to apply for jobs. How can we improve in this area? Oh, looks like Brian might have dropped off there for a second. We'll wait for him to get back. Let's see. Looks like he's going to try and pop back on here. Apologies, folks. So while we're waiting for Brian to get back on and address some questions here, Scott, you want to tell folks a little bit about how, if anybody has an interest in Spectrum Talent Management,
sure,
what kind of the next steps are here?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you've been enjoying this webinar and find this helpful and useful. For more information on this, please contact us at dextrancheney.com, and you can see the URL to make a request. Or much easier and quicker for you is actually just on the on your question tab here, and within the webinar, you can go ahead and put a request in and ask for a call back. We'll make sure to reach out to everybody. And I think we've got maybe Brian back on, looks like.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't dial back in fast enough. I apologize, folks.
No worries at all. Yeah, sometimes we drop off there every once in a while. So Brian, we did have a couple questions here I wanted to throw your way. The first one was about attracting millennials. Question is, we have a really hard time attracting millennials to apply for jobs. How can we improve in this area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So not knowing enough about the contractor and their specific situation, the first thing that I always want to look at is brand and image in the marketplace. Okay, what are you portraying? So what we're learning more and more now is that you obviously want the best people, but the best people don't want to work for just anybody. So if we're not portraying the right image, the right brand, if we're not sending the right message out there, if we're not using the right mediums to communicate that message, any one of those spots could make it difficult for us to attract the millennials. They're doing more research today on companies than we've ever seen potential employees do in the past. Think about it. They have everything at their fingertips. So really, I always start with brand. I look at message, and then what mediums we're using to communicate those messages. If we start there, those are the basics. We typically can improve our chances on hiring those millennials.
That makes perfect sense. So here's another question, actually a couple more questions here. I'll direct this first one actually to Scott here. Question is, I understand that this integration of Spectrum Talent Management and BirdDog is relatively new partnership. Are there any customers who are already using this specific application? Scott, do you want to speak a little bit to that?
So yeah, happy to address that. So the answer is yes. We have clients that are using the not under the Spectrum Talent Management brand, but the BirdDog HR brand, but working between that and Spectrum today. Yes, that is, we do have clients that are doing that today.
Okay. Another question here, and I'll come back to a couple other questions I saw here in a second, but this question, maybe Scott, you can probably answer this too, or maybe Brian as well. I currently use Spectrum and BirdDog as standalone apps. What is the integration between the two? Example, does the onboarding automatically flow into Spectrum to set up a new employee?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, so so one of the areas of Spectrum we provide is web services through Spectrum Data Exchange, and that's the technology underpinnings that provide the integration. And so for an example, the integration is, so if I onboard a new employee and I want to push them to the spectrum, that is possible now between the products. And then we actually in our latest service pack, we have a new dashboard application called new employees, I think it is. And so you can drag that onto your dashboard. And so when those employees get pushed over, because especially if you're not using the onboarding and maybe just using the ATS where you don't have enough information to actually process their payroll and so forth, they'll be listed in this dashboard app, and you can click on it and take it right to the employee configuration screen and go in and flesh out the rest of that information.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, maybe you can answer this question here. Would a customer be expected to provide a resource with a specific programming skill set during implementation?
Well, that is a great question. So absolutely not. The implementation is hassle-free. So what that means is we're going to request some data from you, and it's simple information that the HR team's working with every day. Once we have that information, we go ahead and implement the software fully, and then teach you how we did it and how to, and train you on using it from there. So that's our hassle-free approach to implementation. It does not require any technical experience or knowledge. We've built the software from a don't make me think approach, which makes it really easy, and our satisfaction ratings are ultra high.
It's kind of the same tack we took here at Dextran and Cheney with our software as well. Here's another question here. Yes, we do make good partners. Another question here just came up. Is there any difference in how Spectrum Talent, any difference in how Spectrum Talent Management works with regard to regular employees versus contract or temporary employees?
That's a good question. Let's see. So we're talking about employees. So we'd be talking about the back end of the talent management suite. So after the employee or temp is already in your payroll or HR module, now how do you want to function with them within performance, learning, and succession? See, with the software, it's completely configurable. You're going to do with those individuals what you want to, and it can all be narrowed down to job ID, right, or reporting structure. So you can have different workflows for different types of employees throughout the system. So I guess it comes back to how do you want to configure it, and that's how we can get it done.
Okay, perfect. Folks, we got just a couple minutes here. If you have any last-minute questions, go ahead and type them in now. There's one or two more questions here we can ask. Let me get to this one first. Brian, do you want to take this one? How can we ensure that we are compliant for OFCCP standards?
Yeah, well, that's tricky if you're having to do everything on paper. With the software, it's built in, okay? So, again, we have an advisory panel of AAP, OFCCP, EEO experts, and they guide us on the compliance requirements and how we built our software was from a point where if you're using the software, you're going to be demonstrating habits that are consistent with the compliant recruitment process. So we track all of the outreach, we track all the responses, we do that for you automatically, we provide you the reports along those lines, and then you document your approach to the recruiting portion. Once you have all of that data, now it's all about measuring it and making adjustments. And with the reports and technology, it's easy to do. Nothing, I do want to say, nothing can make you OFCCP compliant. It does take effort from each contractor to make it happen. Our software makes it easier to get it done. That's a fact.
Perfect. It looks like we have time for about one more question here, and then we'll wrap it up for today and let folks get back to their daily schedules here. Last question. Everyone hates performance appraisals at our company. how can we change that and make them beneficial?
Yeah, well, I was just speaking with a prospect yesterday about this. I think there's this cultural shift that's happening right now. You know what people hate is they hate pushing paper. They hate seeing their goals once a year. They hate understanding their performance once a year. They hate putting all this data into paperwork and then see nothing be done with it. Okay, when you make it a little more collaborative, when you make it more frequent, more of an ongoing approach, people enjoy it. Okay, when you get outside of the box, people enjoy it, and it just drives engagement and gives them what they're looking for. So I think it's difference in approach that people or that old approach to performance reviews that people don't like. I really think that's a big part of it.
Makes perfect sense. Well, folks, we're coming to the top of the hour. I know everybody has other business they have to attend to, so I want to take just a minute and thank everybody who joined us today. We know you're taking time out of your busy schedule is not an easy thing to do, so we're happy to have you attend this webinar today with us. I want to thank Scott Rosenblum and Brian May from Birdog HR, and thank them for their time as well. Gentlemen, any last thing to say before we pop off the webinar here today?
Really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and really hope to, any questions, please reach out to us. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And just one more time, we'll leave this last slide up for about another 30 more seconds or so. You can just visit us at our website, www.dextercheney.com. From there, you can, there's multiple ways to contact us. If you want to go directly, this link that's on the page now will go right to the contact us. So if you have any interest in learning a little bit more about Spectrum Talent Management or many of the offerings here at Dexter and Cheney, please feel free to contact us, and we'll make sure we get back to you right away. Thank you, folks. About 30 seconds, we'll go ahead and shut it down.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.